Welcome to r/Maliciouscompliance, where a teacher publicly embarrasses a stuck-up entitled parent. I was just a customer, but man, I had a hotel room booked for 2 nights from a 5-star, well-known hotel chain that rhymes with Baladay Finn. The room was the smallest and cheapest available with 2 double beds, probably even located below parking garage. That was just about the only room available, so it would have to do. About a month later, I arrived with my buddy to basically drop off our stuff in the room so we can take off right away while the sun is still up. In the lobby, there's a group of about 200 people shouting all at once to the 2 ladies manning the desk. After making plans for a few minutes to store our stuff elsewhere, the desk attendant notices us as we clearly were not part of the huge group, so she waves us over past the large group and starts to handle our check-in. She politely asks us to fill the traveler forms while she's looking up my reservation. I thank her and try to make pleasant conversation about this and that, complimenting their uniforms in the hotel, trying to improve the sour atmosphere the angry mob has been generating all around us. While we were filling the forms, an angry man next to us, who was apparently the leader of the lobby mob, keeps shouting loudly, "I demand that you arrange us extra rooms with 2 double-sized beds. We had a late addition to our travel, and they need a room with 2 double-sized beds right effing now." Apparently, the arguing has been taking place for quite a while already. She tries to get a word in, but gets interrupted. "I don't care if your stupid garbage hotel is full. It's your job to give us a place to sleep. Stupid woman. Get us another room and double-sized beds. Don't try anything else. I'm not interested in anything else. You idiots. I wonder how you can keep your job if you can't even arrange a room for us." Every time the main desk attendant tries to talk to the angry man, he rudely interrupts her with more and more shouting. Only thing I can do is to keep smiling at the ladies sympathetically. She says, "We don't have double-sized beds available, but we do have—" "I don't want to hear it. Just do your job and press the buttons to make it happen. You must be mentally slow, aren't you? 2 double beds, or is that too difficult for you?" The clerks share a tired look with each other, but suddenly both have this lamp lighting above their heads. They converse for a moment, using their native language, while pointing at their screens, and then proceed to tell me, "Our apologies, sir, but unfortunately, we don't have your room with 2 double beds available for you, which you had booked for. As you see, we are a bit full today," while she gestures to the mob in the lobby. My heart sinks a bit, until she continues. "So, because we are fully booked, the only room we can offer you is the executive suite at the 24th floor, obviously for no extra cost. Unfortunately, it doesn't have 2 double-sized beds." She makes eye contact with the angry man and continues, "But it has 4 king-size beds, each with their own en-suites." Angry man drops dead silent and is just staring at us. His mouth just moves like the mouth of a fish who is stranded on dry land. While looking at me, she continues, "I hope you accept this free room upgrade with our most sincere apologies on behalf of the hotel management. And of course, all the room service is free, including the refreshments available in the suite kitchen and the suite bar areas. And all hotel VIP facilities are at your disposal 24/7. Please do enjoy your stay and let us know if there is anything we can do to make your stay more comfortable." She dings a small bell and Piccolo takes our bags while gesturing towards the fancy separate elevator at the side. I'm so shocked that I can only mutter a little bit of thanks and follow the Piccolo. While we're making our way towards the elevator, the main desk is explaining to the angry man, "Sir, I'm happy to inform you that we're able to make arrangements to have a single room with 2 double-sized beds, available to accommodate your extra guests. That will be 199 euros added to your bill." The man snaps out of his trance-like state, and the shouting resumes. "What the F? I don't want some single room with double-sized beds. I want a free executive suite too. Why the F do those effers get the effing suite and I get some sucky single room? This is unacceptable. Why did you give my better room to those F-tards instead of to me? She now has a much more commanding tone and she responds, "Unfortunately, sir, our free executive suite is not available. It's booked now. I tried to offer you king size, but you were having none of it. So will you take the single room or not?" I can't tell accurately what was said next, but I'm quite sure it's lots of cussing and throwing more insults from the man, using the man's native language. All I have is this poo-eating grin while the bellhop closes the elevator doors, taking us up. Maybe half an hour later, when we head out to check the city, the lobby's been cleared. We go to the desk to thank the two attendants and give them both a good tip that we easily save with the free room service over the expensive hotel restaurant. Unfortunately, our schedule doesn't allow us to enjoy the free hotel VIP service as much, but the ladies definitely earn a little bit of extra. It was a great experience for us, and I still remember this clearly after a long time. That front desk girl, she was truly maliciously compliant with the angry man. So this was written by someone who is a non-native English speaker, and I don't know why they said that the piccolo took their bags. My guess is that must be a translation error, but I left it in because did anyone else imagine Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z angrily carrying their luggage to the elevator? Our next Reddit post is from Nixter. "I love to cook, and my husband loves to eat. Win-win, right? Top it off with the fact that I like to serve him his meal while he gets to relax. It's just how I was raised, so I'm fine with it. So one day I make some homemade ice cream. I'm loving its texture, its flavor, its everything. Husband walks by and sees me eating, so he says, 'I'll have some ice cream,' then sits his butt down in the living room. He was right fudging there. I was pissed. He was so lazy he wanted me to serve him when he already has to walk past the kitchen where I stood eating right out of the container like the fatty I am to get to the living room. Cue malicious compliance. I grab a bowl and fill it up. I call out, 'You want toppings?' He yells back, 'Heck yeah, I want toppings.' He's not being mean, he's just excited. I'm preparing this bowl of ice cream with everything he loves. Chocolate syrup, caramel drizzle, homemade whipped cream, maraschino cherry, crushed up peanuts, heck, even a sliced up banana to turn it into an amazing banana split. After loading up the huge bowl of ice cream, I get 2 spoons and put one in the bowl. On the other one, I add a tiny piece of banana, tiny bit of ice cream, and a touch of all the toppings, except the cherry. I walk over to him and he's rearranging his gaming stuff, preparing to take the bowl from my hands. His eyes are glowing with joy at the sight of my beautiful creation, and he's got a smile a mile long. I sit in my chair, hug the bowl, and pass him the spoon of ice cream. The look on his face was well worth my efforts. He was so sad for like a second before he broke into a fit of laughter. He acknowledged he was being lazy, thanked me for making ice cream in the first place, then got up and fixed a bowl. We still laugh about it months later, and he goes out of his way to serve me more often now. That's a really sweet story. That's a really sweet story, and it reminds me of something that happened with my significant other, and I'm going to share this story with you right now. So I was going through the grocery store and I saw a drink that's really, really tasty. I forget the name of it. I can only really recognize it by sight, but it's super rare. I never see it anywhere and it's one of my favorite drinks. It's like a creamy sort of tea chai flavored drink, but it's super good. So I see this drink and I get really excited because I can never find it anywhere. So I go to grab a bottle and my significant other asks me about it and I explain that it's one of my favorite drinks. And naturally, she asks if she can try a sip. I say, sure, but you can only try a sip. These are really hard to find, so I want the whole drink to myself. If you want more, then get your own drink. I'll give you a sip, but just a sip. And she's like, nah, I prefer fruity drinks, so she grabs a fruity drink. And I'm like, okay, that's fine, but don't try my drink and then try to get more because I'm not going to give you any. So we go through the grocery store and we get to the car, and it's a short drive to our next destination. So when we stop, I finally pull out both of our drinks and set them in the console between our two seats in the car. Then I unscrew the drink, try some, and of course it's delicious. Then I hand it to her to try it, and she's like, wow, this is really good. And then I grab it from her, put the lid on, and then put it back in the console. And I say, okay, that's all you can have. And she's like, what do you mean that's all I can have? And I say, I told you if you want more, you had to get your own because I never get to have this drink because it's so rare. And you said you didn't want it. You said you wanted the fruity drink, so you can't have any more. The rest is mine. And she says, that's not fair. I didn't know how good it was. And I say, well, tough luck. So she grabs the drink, unbuckles, and flees out of the car, running like 20 feet away. Then she's just standing there in the parking lot, holding the drink close to her chest like Gollum holding the ring and giggling because she thinks she's won. But she doesn't realize that she grabbed the wrong drink. She grabbed her fruit drink instead of my tasty Tai Chi cream drink. So I grab my drink, stand up, unscrew it, and casually take a long swig of this delicious drink with an ah. Then I look at her as this mix of confusion goes through her face, and then she suddenly realizes and she looks down and sees that she's grabbed the wrong drink. And of course she bursts out laughing. It was all like funny and hilarious and just one of those sweet couple moments, but I know exactly what OP is talking about in this story. Our next Reddit post is from UPMCThrowAway. I work in a support role for a global insurance and investment company. Over the last 6 months, I've lost many an evening and weekend to unexpected work problems with not even a thank you, let alone any financial compensation. As an example, being called at 9:30 at night and asked if you can log on when you've met friends for a drink. When a job requires out-of-hours support, a supplement is meant to be paid for being on call with additional payment if you're required to actually work. My contract is based on annual salary, where additional work might be required for no extra pay or overtime if it's considered business as usual or known in advance. This bit is important. However, the work I've been asked to do on weekends and evenings is not business as usual. Business as usual assumes processes work. If something goes wrong, someone needs to step in to fix it, and it's no longer business as usual. Hope that makes sense. A couple of months ago, I had the conversation with my manager about being paid for being on call. I was told the work I was covering actually fell under business as usual, and as I was always given advance notice, I wasn't. I wouldn't be paid for being on call. My manager wouldn't budge on this, so I made it clear I would not be taking my laptop home or be available unless I was given advance notice I might be required to log on, to which my manager agreed. On this glorious day, I received a call from my manager asking me to log on as some critical data was missing from a file, causing significant problems with several admin systems. Trying to sound as sincere as I could, I apologized and said as I was not made aware in advance and I'm not on call, my laptop was left at the office. This was met by an ah, to which I responded, good luck and I'll see you tomorrow. I'm expecting it to be a disaster in the morning for Muggins here to clean up, but it'll be worth it. Wait a minute. I'm a YouTuber, so my work experience mostly involves sitting in my basement making videos in my pajamas. I've never heard the term business as usual used in this context. It sounds like OP is in the UK in this story. Does this kind of thing exist in the US? Because it seems to me that if it's business as usual, that's called a job. And you're supposed to be paid for your job, right? So if working on Saturdays is business as usual, shouldn't that just be a paid workday? I don't understand. Can someone in the comments explain to me how this works? Our next Reddit post is from Alden World Warden. So flashback to my first year of teaching. I was a 21-year-old middle school teacher, fresh out of college and extremely green. I was admittedly shaky when it came to parent communication. It is quite intimidating to speak to a parent as an equal when you are less than 10 years older than their children. Many of them were old enough to be my parent, which made things awkward for me. Enter Mom. Her daughter, Diva, did absolutely nothing in my class except stir up drama, be extremely rude and obnoxious, and generally anything but do her work. Now, student grades are easily accessible at all times through an online parent portal. So I have always been of the opinion that parents should never be surprised by grades at the end of the quarter. So the end of the second quarter is drawing to an end, and I get an abrasive email from Mom demanding a parent-teacher conference with an administrator present. Of course, teachers are instructed to meet with a parent anytime they want a conference. One of my assistant principals sat in on the meeting. From the moment Mom sat across from me, I knew where Diva got her attitude. Mom was belligerent, accusing, and rude. She began to angrily accuse me of causing her daughter to fail. Somehow my fault? Basically, I should have done everything under the sun to make sure she didn't fail. I should have contacted her early, I should have sent home extra copies, I should have been checking Diva's agenda, etc. While I admittedly should have called her early, her chewing me out in front of my boss was the most embarrassing moment of my career. My assistant principal worked out a compromise that went like this. Since Mom didn't want a lot of phone calls, apparently a busy person, it was agreed that I would write a note to Mom in Diva's agenda every Friday about her grade and her missing work. Embarrassed and chastised, I could barely look my boss in the eye. I resolved that I would comply to the fullest, so much so that it would be annoying. I would be above reproach so that she could never berate me like that again. However, I never could have imagined the incredible events that followed. In the weeks that followed, I not only wrote in Diva's agenda, but I printed off lists of her missing assignments, progress reports, and letters home and stapled them to her agenda. I did this every week without fail, and Diva's behavior did not change. By the end of the third quarter, she was missing 8 assignments and was failing my class yet again. Lo and behold, I get an email from Mom demanding a parent-teacher conference with a principal present. She arrives and starts in on me again about how I'm unprofessional and how I'm not supporting her daughter and how I had yet again failed to notify her that her daughter was failing. Then the realization struck me. She had never looked at the agenda. I painstakingly stapled progress reports, letters, and missing work into her agenda for nearly 3 months, and she never once checked. A grin broke across my face. I say, "Can we look at Diva's agenda? There's something I think you should see." Mom leaves the room and comes back with Diva's agenda. I begin flipping through the agenda, showing her every single page that I wrote on or stapled. Now, if you'll notice, I have written in Diva's agenda and stapled progress reports, letters to you, and lists of missing work into her agenda every single week since we last spoke, as per our arrangement. Are you telling me that you didn't check her agenda once? Blood drains from her face as she realizes her credibility with my principal is now gone. I say, at this point in the quarter, it is too late for your child to turn in makeup work. Please be sure to be checking your child's agenda every Friday for an update concerning her progress. In order for your child to be successful, you need to be involved. Do you have any questions? The mom stammering with excuses and apologies for not checking. By this point, I could tell that my principal was stifling laughter, so I knew that I'd won. Mom left very quickly, and I never received one of those harsh emails again. Diva's behavior didn't improve at all, but I rode the satisfaction of that win all the way through to summer. I would bet my YouTube channel that the administrator originally made that suggestion knowing that the teacher was going to ignore it anyways, and basically set up that parent to make a fool of herself. That was r/Maliciouscompliance, and if you want to maliciously comply, hit that like and subscribe button.